Hello and welcome to your practice on tracking sensations. If you haven't had a chance yet, I suggest you check out the intro video from this segment. This will give you a better overview of what we're going to dive into today. If you want to pause the video and go back to that, please feel free to do that now. Otherwise, if you're ready to continue, find yourself in a comfortable seated position in a place where you won't be interrupted for the next 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to do this seated at my desk, but you could certainly do this on the floor, on a couch, on a bed, wherever you're most comfortable. If you're ready to begin, we're going to start with some orienting from one of our prior modules, which helps support conditions of learning a new embodied leadership skill. So when you're ready, starting to engage our orienting system of sight by allowing our eyes to move around the room and taking in the space around us. So I'm going to do this by looking at my walls, out the window, the floor, and allowing my system to settle on anything that offers a little bit access to greater ease within my system. And this is helping us come into the here and now, having a greater connection with what's happening in the space right around us, so that we can come into this practice with a greater access point. And once you've allowed your eyes to scan around the room a bit, let's start to take in the orienting system of sound. So the sound of my voice, any sounds in your immediate environment, or maybe the environment right outside your office or house. And just noticing that without trying to change anything. Noticing any shifts and sensations in your system as you start to engage these different parts of orienting. And then tune into the system of touch. And so this can be your body on the chair, your body on the floor, wherever it is connecting with the space around you. I'm going to feel my feet on the floor. I'm going to feel my back into my chair. And I'm going to notice the general weight of my body, of where it is in space. And once you feel more rooted and oriented to the here and now and the space around you, I welcome you to start the practice of tracking sensations with me. So as you saw in the previous model, we're going to go through a 4-step process that maps out how to track sensation so we can get familiar with this skill. So number 1, what are you noticing right now for sensations in your own body? So starting to take a scan. This is again without judgment, of just noticing without trying to make changes. What sensations are you noticing? And if you're not sure about language to describe this, you can always go back to the last module of the intro video where there are languages of sensation, or download the file that you can have a look at it and keep it handy. So starting to get curious about what sensations are coming up in your own body, maybe starting with temperature. So what is warm, what is cool, and perhaps what is constricted or what is contained. What might feel more open or spacious? What feels heavy or light? And as you scan through the body, starting to take stock of this and noticing it, and also starting to play with some of those languages of sensation that you may not be familiar with, we'll move to number 2. So where are you noticing these sensations? This could be isolated to one particular part of the body. Maybe it's the skin, maybe it's the muscles, maybe it's the fascia, or maybe it's more widespread throughout the body and it's more of a sensation that's all over the place. Or it could be a sensation that's shifting constantly throughout the body. It appears in the face one moment and then it's in the feet the next moment, and that's okay too. This is just this act of noticing without changing and without judgment. And third, what is it like to notice this sensation? And what are you noticing about this sensation itself? Does it have different qualities? Is it hard? Is it moving fast? Is it stiff? Does it have ease to notice this? What is coming up for you as you start to notice these sensations? And then number 4, what happens next when you notice this? Sometimes when we draw attention to noticing sensations of constriction, as an example, maybe a symptom of stress, simply drawing attention and awareness to this can allow it to shift. And so this might be something to try, is going between some of these different sensations that you have in your body. So if you notice an area of constriction, do you want to hang out there for a moment and then go back to an area of less constriction? This is where we start to play with that activation and deactivation and starting to get more comfortable and normalizing and noticing these sensations of stress within our system. And when we develop this noticing muscle, this is when we can start to interrupt stress response patterns and cycles so that we move ourselves away from burnout and invite regulation back in. So, hanging out with any sensations that you might notice here. And anytime you need to bring back any orienting when you feel a little bit too much activation, you're welcome to do that as well. So, using your eyes to scan, your ears to bring in sound, or feeling your body as it connects with the chair. And then when you're ready, drawing this practice to a close and taking a moment to get curious about what came up for you today. And this is your learning integration, is that the next time you notice stress coming up in your body, can you switch into the sensations and start to understand how this is showing up in your own unique nervous system so that you can get curious about interrupting these stress response patterns and cycles and inviting in regulation for your own embodied leadership practice. Thanks for practicing with me, and I'm so glad you're in this community, and I'll see you in the next module.